All right, well, so my next least favorite, personally, but you're not going to agree, was Phantom Thread.
Yeah.
The supremely pretentious Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yes. It's about a famous dress designer, and he
Played by Daniel Day-Lewis.
Played by Daniel Day-Lewis.
Is this based on a true story, or is this a made-up?
Is it based on a true story?
I do not know.
I think it's made up.
Yeah, I think it's made up. So it's made up. In this world, he's a famous dress designer, and he's very concentrated on his work.
Apparently, in London in the 50s. Yes. I didn't get this from the actual film. I got this from the internet later.
Oh, I see. But he's very very orderly, very much like likes things a certain way, and then he falls in love with this woman, and it's hinted that he's like gone through women all the time because he's so hard to deal with, because he's so focused on order and his work.
Yeah, the beginning of the movie is him getting bored with his current girl and kind of ditching her.
And then this woman comes in and falls in love with him, but gets quickly annoyed that he's so picky, and then poisons him, and then he falls in love with her, and it's pretty crazy. And he has like mommy issues.
He misses his mom.
He misses his mom, so that's why he's so screwed.
So there's a ghost mom character.
There's a ghost mom.
There's a ghost mom.
Who I actually thought was she looked very period to me. Like that was the one thing I was like, that was kind of cool. Yeah. She looked like a painting or something.
Yeah. That was a.
Let me just say the visuals I thought were really, really good in this movie, right? I think that he set a style and a tone. The costuming was lovely. It was really competently shot, but it had a lot of problems.
I think he shot it in 70 mil. Because he shot The Master in 70 mil.
Yeah, it definitely had a good texture to it. Paul
Thomas Anderson is very hit or miss for me. He's obviously, the thing I respect about the guy is he's never made a movie that he can't stand behind.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of our auteurs that we have. So you're naturally interested in what he's going to come out with. But if I'm being totally honest, I'm not really a Boogie Nights guy. I'm not really a Punch Drunk Love guy. Yeah. I'm not really a Magnolia guy.
Didn't care about the frogs raining.
Like Inherent Vice came out a couple of years ago, and that was like total dog shit. Yeah. So I've never been, like, as much as I think I probably respect this guy, I'm not sure that he and I are on the same wavelength.
Did we talk about this was supposed to be Daniel Day-Lewis's last film?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be. I don't know if I believe him.
Yeah.
But because he does his like shoemaking and woodworking in his real life, so maybe that's kind of like interesting that he's playing an obsessive dressmaker, that he's kind of an obsessive person too, because he even takes the craft of acting to the extreme level.
Right.
I mean, but this movie definitely had, I thought, problems.
Yes.
It was 2 hours 10 minutes, and it really could have lost 40 of those.
I agree with that. I mean, I enjoyed the movie for the most part, but even I felt the time extremely. It's a repetitive movie. I feel like there's a time when she poisons him and he gets into the vulnerable state and then like falls in love with her again, basically. And then he could have found out that she poisoned him like right after that, and the movie could have ended, and that would have been I think it probably would have been a fine film. But then it goes on for 40 more minutes after that. In fact, I saw that part. I looked at my watch because I'm like, oh, the movie's ending, and then I'm like, oh no, there's 40 minutes left.
Yeah, I did the same thing, EJ. I thought that we were coming down off the core of the story.
I don't think I understood the characters. Like, it's not like he fell in love with her because she challenged him and was the strong personality. She kind of submits to everything that he wants initially, then decides it's like too much and she's not enchanted by it anymore.
I agree with that. I think they didn't develop her as a character as much as they needed to. I think it's pretty obvious that she reminded him of his mother.
Yeah.
That's clear. But for her, I don't see what the draw is. I think eventually, you see that she's, respects him as a dressmaker and becomes a dressmaker herself, but like they didn't show a lot. It's way too subtle.
Like, I was very surprised when she made him that dinner and like cooked something that she knew he didn't like it that way, and I was like, where did this come from? Like, when does she decide like, I'm gonna bring you out of your box? Like,
I read it as one of those things where like she's attracted to his talent, his obsession, and then she wants to dominate it. Or she wants to become part of it, or she wants to tame it, or something along those lines. So it's a little bit Beauty and the Beast. But
I don't think they communicated that well, if that was what was going on.
No, there were more opportunities to get that message really through that the movie didn't take.
Instead, they just spend an inordinate amount of time repeating the same sequences.
Yeah, because he gets annoyed way too often.
It's like, well, it's essentially the same scene every time. It's like if you could beat out the scene, you'd be like, all right, so he was trying to stay in his zone. She disrupted him. he gets really aggressive with her, she gets really upset, and he doesn't care.
Yes, that happened 5 times. Like,
Yeah.
in order. Like,
And I'm like, I get it. And as a matter of fact, like at the beginning of the movie, they established that he does this with girlfriends.
Yeah.
And so I got it. I got it in 10 minutes.
Yeah. So they could have expedited a lot of that.
And then like a lot of is watching him make the dresses and then deliver the dresses to the clients.
yeah, and while that was probably the most visually interesting part of the film for me, just because I was so bored by the rest of the story, we didn't really need to have it.
Yeah, there was 2 dresses that were probably pivotal, which was the fat lady who
Yes.
had her wedding dress and they stole it after.
Yep.
That was pretty pivotal.
And then the other wedding dress.
The other wedding dress. So
But like but on that second dress, right, when he collapses because she's poisoned her, he damages the dress. We spent 4 or 5 minutes of the movie remaking the dress when there was really no reason for the movie to spend 4 or 5 minutes remaking the dress.
yeah, I think they were trying to say it's like, oh, so her poisoning had these consequences, but it didn't need to be in the movie.
He could have just fallen the other way; it would have been fine.
And then they introduced so randomly this idea toward the end of like he's not chic anymore, like he's not popular.
Yes.
People are going
Yeah,
to other dress houses, and I'm
then
like,
they drop it after that.
when did that come into play? Like it would have been nice to know if that was why he was so stressed and anxious and anal, was because he knew that he was losing prowess in his field, or I have no idea. But
It doesn't help. It doesn't help too that I have no eye for dresses or for this. Like I don't even know what I'm looking at. Like
I found the fabric and the colors and the dresses lovely.
I think like the first client that came out, like the very first one, which I think was supposed to establish the gorgeousness and the beauty of what he did. I was like, it looks ugly to me. Like I don't know. I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Clothes
wedding
aren't my
dress
thing.
at the end was very lovely, I thought.
Yeah.
But
I don't know the first thing about it.
That's what's frustrating to me because I did like the character, the main character. I like that obsessive personality. It reminds me of a lot of people I know.
Yeah.
And I
agree.
like the idea of like having somebody who is so into order and then somebody who like kind of brings out his vulnerabilities. I like that story. And so it's frustrating to me that it's bogged down by so many things.
Yeah, it was a tough sit.
Yeah.
Like there was nothing about like I think I've said this in the past, but like movies are supposed to be like I'm supposed to be on the edge of my seat. I'm supposed to be wanting more information that I currently don't have, that the storyteller is withholding from me and then feeding me at its rate.
one piece at a time.
And instead, this was just like, yeah, I know.
Yes.
And like,
Yeah.
and then finally we get to an ending that was sort of interesting.
the sister likes her for no reason.
Yeah,
like all the underdeveloped characers.
That need to be. I think, the relationship with the sister need to be a little more developed. You know, it's a brilliantly crafted bore fest. But
Yeah, I recommend it. I definitely recommend
With a
this.
lot of really underdeveloped thoughts. There's some weird like racism for a moment where they're like whatever country she's from when they go to like that dinner party.
That makes sense.
Lots of little pieces that like they never pick up or do anything with.
Yeah.
If you like that, if you like to maybe imagine a different film that includes those things.
I recommend this screensaver.
Yes, it's a very beautiful dress screensaver.
All your rules and your clothes and all this money and everything is a game.
This was an ambush.
Stop.
Are you sent here to ruin my evening and possibly my entire life?
Stop it! Whatever you do it carefully.